on, now we've got some sweet standard to watch.
Yeah, that's...
We got Twitch ready to go.
Sweet standard.
They're fired up. So Jeskai Aggro versus Jeskai Aggro round 1, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
Wow, these decks are fairly similar?
I don't know. Bill Taylor's playing dumb cards like Deflecting Palm, so he deserves to lose.
Bill Taylor was definitely in it to win it last week with a Tamir deck, I believe, is what he was playing.
He was here last week?
Maybe not last week, maybe the week before, I'm sorry.
I don't know, all these weeks are starting to run together.
These FNMs have been getting long, man. That's what it's about. I remember back in my day, like 3-round FNMs.
Sign me up.
Get out of here by like 9 o'clock.
Yes. Bill Taylor has a million lands in his hand, so he's going to mulligan. He's not playing Rebel Master's main deck. He has 4 in the sideboard. That seems completely and utterly incorrect. But I don't know what it is. He is going to keep it. And he draws another land, so get punished.
Ouch.
Temple of Triumph for him. Going to scry. Chris played a Mystic Monastery. Just going to ship it back after keeping it on top, so that's a spell. Chris draws a Flooded Strain.
These Jeskai decks are really popular now with the the power that you get from like the red-white. I think there's just some people who want to splash blue. I mean,
I guess. I don't understand it. Red-white just seems better and more consistent, but it's a Wild Slash on Secret Away from Bill. He plays a Flooded Strain.
I mean, you have to remember, blue gives us access to some of the cards we like.
But Mana Strider. That's about it. It ends there.
Some control magic negates.
Yeah, I guess. It's Temple of Triumph for Chris. Scry again. Ship it back. Bill's gonna fetch. Got a million lands in his hand already. Doesn't want another one.
Slow start here from the aggro decks.
Yeah, well, like this is a problem with like the 3-color aggro decks.
Yeah.
Is like they're 3-color aggro decks and all of their lands come into play tapped.
Sure.
So
I think you've kind of crossed that line when you see this mirror match. Also, that both players playing a pretty strong suite of reactionary spells as far as burn goes.
Yeah.
So like you play a creature, I remove it. I play a creature, you remove it.
Yeah, well, that's I think why you have to be the one player to not play a creature that just dies to a single removal spell, because you just lose so much tempo when your opponent can end step kill your guy, and then untap and play a guy like Rabble Master. That's why Rabble Master is good in this matchup.
Sure.
So Chris is gonna kill this Soulfire Grandmaster.
Yeah,
if he has like a Rabble Master here, it's sweet because then he can get a little bit of value before Bill can kill it. But it looks like he doesn't have it. Just has a handful of burn and a Stormbreath Dragon. So
I think this is where actually on Chris's turn right now, where he played that Flooded Strand and wasn't really able to cast anything. That's where you kind of see that Ojutai exemplars that are coming out in Dragons of Tarkir.
The 4-mana guy?
The 4-mana guy, yeah.
That card is sweet.
I agree.
I like things that allow me to do multiple things.
I agree.
So, Hordling Outburst, pretty good against Chris's hand of Double Stoke to Flames, Abzan Advantage, and Stormbreath Dragon. But Chris is going to crack those fetch lands and go down to 18 here. And cast one of them Stormbreath Dragons, or the Stormbreath Dragon. So, Stormbreath Dragon is a pretty difficult card for this Jeskai deck to remove. I think the only out to it is Stoke the Flames, so Bill's got to find one of those or he's going to die.
That's the other reason I think you see some of these players splash in the blue instead of just going for the consistency of red-white, is they like the idea of being able to cast the Disdainful Stroke against a Stormbreath Dragon.
I mean, that's fair.
I
just Chain to the Rocks is so good. And it's just really hard to jam into this deck.
Sure.
Because the mountain count just isn't there.
Yeah.
Which is why I think that red-white is just better.
I agree. The consistency from red-white is really strong. It's hard to argue against that deck.
Yeah, there's Dragon in for 4. So Chris is going to ship it back. And he draws a Monastery Mentor. That card I think is not very good.
I don't know. It's hard to argue against that card. Like on paper, the card seems super powerful.
I think it's good in older formats. Been watching a lot of Vintage Super League.
Okay.
And
interesting. You've been getting into some Vintage.
And Steve Menendian did some busted things with
the,
that card.
Sure.
I
can only imagine.
You get Taxian Probe, Gush, the Moxes, Black Lotus, and you just get a million free spells.
Yep.
It's pretty sweet, but in Standard, where things aren't free, a little less powerful, I think. But we're going to see just how powerful it is, because Bill's going to play one and then attack with his Hordeling Outburst tokens.
I mean, it definitely requires removal. Like, it's a card you can't just allow your opponent to have on the table, correct?
I've raced it, but yeah, most of the time you're right. But like that's the thing with like this format is there's Rabble Master's nice because you can play it and immediately get a 1/1, and then it can die and you still get something.
Sure.
This you can't just play on 3 and like when your opponent's tapped out and hope to get value out of it. So that's my issue with it. But Chris is gonna play this Mana Strider here, and I think probably the play is so if we attack him, we do put him down. I think we just attack him.
Okay.
Put him to 8. It's gonna unfortunately lightning strike our guy, but I think Chris can Abzan advantage his guy, which I think is the correct line. So Chris is gonna let the trigger resolve, then he's gonna Abzan advantage, target Bill and bolster his dude, and hit him for 8. Put him down to 7. Bill's pretty much just dead, I think, now. So let's see. Bill has 3/6 power. Chris is at 15. If he like stokes him,
He drew a Battlefield Forge off the top.
11. Yeah, Bill needs a like land stoke Jeskai Charm, I think. No, land Jeskai Charm would kill Chris, but yeah, doesn't have it. Gonna scoop him up. So Monastery Mentor didn't get to do much there, other than make a monk token and then Bill scooped him up on the next turn.
And I think you're right. Maybe this isn't the correct format for him. I try to go back and think of places that he would fit in. I almost like him in Innistrad block to some degree, because he seems like pretty abusive with some of the cards I had back then. Mentor of the Meek being, I think, one of them.
I think he's abusive in like when you can play him on 3 and then play things to get value off of him immediately. Sure. Like that's the problem, and especially like I said in this format where Rabble Master gets you value when you play it on 3, provided you like sequence it and play it at the correct times. This card not so much, but I mean, I saw LSV playing a deck where he was playing like God's Willings and stuff.
Okay.
And it was more of a turn 4 card where he'd play it on turn 4 with like God's Willing up or like Wild Slash up.
Okay.
Where you just want to play it to where you can, even if it gets removed, you can still get a little bit of value out of it. And it's just a little slower than Rabble Master, I think.
Yeah, it's strange. And we still haven't seen that really make an impact in Legacy either, which is the format I think of when I think of free spells. That's played often. I know Vintage, obviously, like you said, has
so many more free spells.
Oh, a ton of free spells. I mean, there's a million free spells.
That format is sweet.
It is. I'm not going to lie. The format is really cool. What do we got for sideboards here? I mean, both players are Jeskai, so I'm assuming they're pretty similar.
Not really.
No?
Chris has a little bit more of a control-ish sideboard.
Okay.
So he has 1 End Hostilities, 1 Valorous Stance, 2 Anger of the Gods, 1 Glare of Heresy, 2 Elspeth Sun Champions, 3 Disdainful Strokes, 2 Brimaz, 2 Negate, and 1 Outpost Siege. So I think Chris is probably going to bring in Anger of the Gods, Glare of Heresy, probably some number of Elspeths. I like Brimaz too, especially when we're bringing in Anger of the Gods, and potentially like a Hostilities.
Okay.
I don't know how good cards like Negate or Outpost Siege are. Negate seems fine-ish. Outpost Siege, I don't know. I'm on the fence about that one.
As a one-of, I feel like you need to have it so early to make it effective in this matchup, because we saw in matches where it was played either against the Mardu aggro decks that played the Hordeling Outburst and the Butchers and the Rabble Master. Outpost Siege against those type of decks, and even against some of these Jeskai aggro or Jeskai token decks, becomes such a one-for-one in Dragons mode that once it's out and the other deck just can't remove it, it's very hard for them to make any leeway, because then you're turning, okay, I'm going to block with one of my tokens against one of your tokens and shoot one of your other tokens. So now every creature that I have that's dying is becoming essentially a 2-for-1.
Yeah, that's actually pretty sweet.
But I with just one of them, I can agree. I don't know if it necessarily comes in.
Bill, he has 2 Deflecting Palm, an Elspeth, 2 Glare Heresy, Dissolve, 2 Erase, 2 Soulfire Grandmaster, 4 Rabble Masters, and 1 Disdainful Stroke. I think probably bring in like the Stroke, the Glares, probably an Elspeth, and maybe some Deflecting Palms for Stormbreath Dragon.
Sure.
Rabble Master I don't think is very good in this matchup. Probably I'm boarding all of them out. If I'm Chris, I'm not bringing them in. If I'm Bill, yeah. It just dies.
Yeah.
But that's the problem with Monastery Mentor too. It's just a 2-drop that dies, or 3-drop that just dies and really doesn't get much value. Mana Strider, I think, pretty good because it blocks stuff well, and you can, sequence. You can play it at times where you just get to Lightning Bolt your opponent, and then it dies, whatever. But you still got to Lightning Bolt them. Yeah, like Storm Breath, I think, is the best card in this matchup. So Bill gonna mulligan down to 6. Chris keeping on 7 here. Bill in the tank here.
Trying to decide if he's.
Looks like he's. I think that's a keeper, man. He's. I don't know. I can't see if he has a red source. I think that's what he's debating. He does. He might be a 1-lander. Yeah. Looks like he's got 1 Mystic Monastery. No, gonna mulligan again. I think he. I think it was a 1-lander when he had.
Kept a pretty hefty hand to land last time, and it somewhat panned out for him. I mean, he had removal, was able to drop a few creatures, get a Hordling Outburst.
People don't keep hands with lots of lands when they should, I think. It depending on like what type of deck you're playing, and like especially like FNM when you should probably know what your opponents are playing because people don't change decks that often.
Yeah,
you can be safe like keeping land heavy hands.
I feel like that's okay, and if you're playing a control style deck, a land heavy hand is never bad.
Yeah, for sure. Control definitely, but even like this Jeskai deck, I'd probably keep like a land heavy hand a lot of the time.
So as Bill Taylor's shuffling up here for a second mulligan, we can talk about your dislike of one of the cards that was spoiled. What card was that again?
We're not. Ultimate Price? That's BS, man. Heroic already stunk. Now they're gonna put
no, it's really bad.
No, it's sweet, but I mean Heroic is sweet.
Yes.
So get your games in with it while you can.
Until Ultimate Price
just completely invalidates it. So Bill Taylor going to keep on 4 and lead with the Plains. Can't imagine he's going to win this game, but if he is, yeah, going to need more than 1 land.
That land's not going to get there. Chris not doing much better though.
I mean, Chris has 3 lands and a 2-drop, so can't complain here. Seeker of the way. Card's good. It's going in my blue-white prowess deck for after rotation.
Blue-white prowess, is that what you're playing? Okay.
It's in the brew tank.
A Bramaz right here would be pretty good for Chris.
Bramaz would probably be game over, but Bill does have a Glare Heresy, so bash for 2.
How do you feel about...
Boom, land.
There you go.
Lightning Strike.
Okay.
That seems dangerous.
Seems very bad into 3 open mana.
Seems like he's going to get Abzan advantaged.
Yep. So we'll see a counter get put on the Seeker.
Jeez.
He is safe.
Blowout.
Ouch.
Yeah, Bill not going to win this game.
Chris did bring in the Outpost Siege. If he's got a 4th land here, that could be
he probably is playing some number main deck.
You think so?
He doesn't, which is unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
I imagine he's just going to attack for 3, and then I just chip the turn back.
Yep. How do you feel about the blue-white dragon?
That card is the best dragon.
I agree.
Although Silumgar is actually pretty decent, I think, too.
Silumgar's okay.
He steals Planeswalkers.
People were upset that he did not have hexproof still. They didn't quite.
Okay, if he stole Planeswalkers and had hexproof, we would be busted.
I like the flavor on Atarka. I think that card's pretty sweet. It's almost unplayable at its ridiculous cost of mana, but it's very cool.
I don't know. People are playing a lot of like 9 million mana cards.
Yeah, I guess that's wrong to say. You could always see a Green Devotion deck.
Oh man, Chris got a handful of removal spells, but no lands to cast them. But Bill is on him a little 4, so there's a Soulfire Grandmaster. I imagine this is going to get eaten by a Lightning Strike.
Boy, in the gate right here. That'd be spicy.
Well, Chris would untap and then fire another Lightning Bolt at a Lightning Strike at that thing.
It actually looks like Chris in his hand has an Anger of the Gods.
I see Valorous Stance. Yeah, Anger of the Gods, Stoke the Flames, Dig Through Time, Lightning Strike.
Yeah, correct.
Outpost Siege.
Oh, God, if the Outpost Siege would have come out a little bit earlier, I mean, it's still fairly good. It's still early enough for it.
So Bill in the tank here, you gotta fetch and go to 14. Maybe he does have this negate, or like a Valorous Stance.
That'd be kind of sweet.
Or he could Deflecting Palm.
Also sweet. Yeah.
Well, less sweet, but...
Unfortunately, we're also put in the position where Oh, oh, oh. Okay, Bill's got it.
Bill's going to try to unmulligan by hiding cards under his butt.
We're also put in the position, though, I think you're right, where Chris just untaps. But then again, he has to main phase fire that off. So Chris gets put in a weird situation where I guess if he draws an additional land, he has the ability to play the Outpost Siege, but he may not.
Yeah, that's fair.
So there's the Deflecting Palm.
Chris is going to read this one. Yeah, can target sources of damage.
Coincidentally, kind of sweet with the Soulfire Grandmaster.
Being able to buy that back?
No, the fact that that has lifelink.
Whatever.
So you just don't think...
I just want to buy it back.
I don't know. Did
you can't die if you buy it back. Did the spell
get cast? What happened? What? Oh,
I'm confused.
I am very confused. So he showed it to him? And then...
Oh, he raised the alarmed.
I know, but he showed him the Deflecting Palm.
I don't know, maybe it doesn't... I'm pretty sure that it can handle sources of damage.
I believe it can. Is it only sources of damage to you, though, I think is the...
Oh, yeah, it could be. I think it is.
Take a look. The next time a source of your choice will deal damage to you this turn, so it cannot protect a creature. Very interesting.
We stink. But thank you, Chris, for reading the card.
Thank God. He did get it with 2, though.
He did. He did attack with his soldiers. Chris played the Outpost Siege on his turn. It looks like Chris is going to try to bury Bill in card advantage after Bill already mulliganed to 4.
Especially with a dig through time in hand, it's a little overkill. It's definitely a lot of card advantage.
Well, there's a counterspell for that dig through time. Diseinfo Stroke. Unfortunately, this is a 9-turn clock, so...
It's actually kind of funny. I like the raise the alarm, because it forces Chris into like an odd position where like he either has to cast the Anger of the Gods to get rid of 2 like raise the alarm tokens,
or he could just play a Mantis Rider and not care about.
Oh, that's also true. Yeah, that does it.
About 1/1s.
Yeah, that's fine too. I'd take that. Mantis Rider, probably one of my favorite cards out of the sets recently.
Yeah, it's a sweet one.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, I mean, Bill, we showed him the Deflecting Palm. Might as well try the Deflecting Palm.
Just fire it off.
Gonna take 3. Go to 11.
Just gotta save it, bro. To the very last second.
Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure you can't Deflecting Palm creatures.
What do you mean?
So you can't like Deflecting Palm and redirect the damage to creatures.
You can Deflecting Palm and redirect the damage to planeswalkers?
You can.
That's pretty sweet.
So Bill draws a Monastery Mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't think that card is very good.
I feel like it'd be pretty strong here if we had like an additional land that we could play to keep up mana for the counterspell that we have in hand.
Yeah, we can't even cast that. We don't have blue.
So. Well, that hurts.
Yeah.
That definitely
let's
hurts.
see, Chris. Looks like he's going to untap and Lightning Strike. I imagine he just Lightning Strikes. So he's going to Stoke. I imagine he just Stokes Bill's face.
Right to the dome.
Yeah, put him to 7. Tag him down to 4. Draw another burn spell. Kill him. Especially if we have dig through time. Can we cast? So there's the game.
There's the strike.
Yeah. Chris is going to win this one. Going to attack. Then he's going to double Lightning Strike.
Ouch.
Show him another Lightning Strike.
Strike you. Down to 1. Strike you again.
Boom. That is the game,
That's
folks.
It, baby. Wow.
The keep on 7 with the Outpost Siege beats the Mull to 4.
Yeah, definitely. I think we could have seen that coming. Chris gonna handily take it there, 2-0. That Mull definitely hurt. I mean, I thought Bill was gonna come back there. He seemed like he started to draw on a little bit of gas. Not having